In this episode, I'm going to give you a few tips when it comes to scheduling your production. Now, in larger productions, somebody else will do this for you, but on small, very little budget productions, the director is usually the one who ends up doing this. There are a lot of factors to consider when it comes to coming up with a schedule. You might have to work around an actor, you might have to work around a location, or you might be working on a project that has a lot of special effects and stunts or other difficult scenes that you might want to tackle first. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of these. The absolute best tool you have at your disposal when it comes to coming up with a schedule is your script breakdown. If you don't know what this is, check out some of my earlier videos when it comes to the script breakdown, and it'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to do this. It is your best friend when it comes to making up a schedule. When it comes to the script itself, the general rule of thumb is 1 hour of shooting per page. However, this isn't a fail-proof concept. It is going to take you a lot less time to shoot a scene with 2 people eating dinner than it is to shoot a car chase or a scene with a ton of people, which takes up maybe a fraction of the page in the script. A lot of people, especially if they have hired name talent, tend to work their schedules around their actors. You might have an actor who's only available during certain days, or your budget might only allow them to be on set for a couple days. Either way, when it comes to scheduling around actors, you will generally want to shoot all their stuff either first or last. I recommend first just to get it out of the way. Another thing to consider when it comes to actors is whether or not they belong to a union. SAG and other unions do have strict rules when it comes to how long they can work every day, when their breaks have to be, when their meals have to be. Some also have riders that include other little perks that the actor requires. Working with a union cast can make your schedule trickier, and you will probably be shooting longer because your days will be shorter. Unless you have a lot of scenes that don't use the exact same people, you're probably going to be wrapping within 8 to 10 hours each day. With non-union members, you have much more flexibility. There it's a matter of just negotiating with the individual as to how long they're willing to work each day and what they're willing to do. Another method is to go by location. This makes it a lot easier for a production team because you're not constantly moving your cast and crew back and forth from one location to the other. If you happen to have a location that you can use several sets within it, such as a house where you might be shooting in the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, living room, etc., all the better. But locations have their own sets of problems as well. You might have a house that's only available on a certain day of a week, or you might have construction going on nearby that goes on from Monday to Friday and you can only shoot on the weekends in order not to screw up your audio. So all of that will affect your schedule. You're also going to want to have a contingency for all of your locations. While in a perfect world nothing goes wrong on a film production and you can go in and shoot whenever you want, things can go wrong. So, with every location, always have an alternative location that is available at the same time, just in case you have to make a last-minute switch. Some people choose to film all of their more difficult scenes first, just to get them out of the way. This isn't a bad idea in theory. In practice, sometimes it can be trickier, especially when it comes to stunts or special effects that need special equipment. I say this because these things often require third parties who might not necessarily stick to the same schedule that you had in mind. It's not unheard of for components of a special effect or a stunt not to show up on time for a shoot. What I generally suggest is that you schedule an extra day for stunts or special effects so you have time to remedy these problems. For example, if you have a fight scene that you think is going to take you 2 days to shoot, schedule it for 3. If you end up not using the third day, bonus round. You can either give everybody the day off or you can move on to the next scenes that you want to shoot. But if you locked yourself into 2 days and a piece of equipment has not shown up yet, you're going to be in trouble. Another thing that you might be scheduling for is if you have investors that wish to visit the set. Investors particularly ones that aren't in the industry, are going to be starstruck. They're going to want to be there when your name star is there, if you have one. They're going to want to be there when you're shooting a big death scene for a horror movie, or if you're shooting a big car chase for an action flick. They're going to want to see something interesting, and you're going to have to schedule them so they can see this. If they don't see anything interesting going on set while they're there, they're going to be disappointed, and they might make your life a little bit more difficult by nagging you about this. So, do yourself a favor here. If you've got investors that are coming onto the set, make sure to schedule them on a day that you're filming something that they're going to really be wowed by. Another thing to keep in mind is when it comes to sex scenes or nudity scenes, or scenes that involve something controversial such as rape or incest. You will have actors that'll initially tell you that they're fine with anything, but then after you've hired them, they change their minds. Inexperienced actors will think, oh, you can just change the script, no big deal, right? They don't understand how much trouble it is to go back, rewrite a scene from the script, and then have to schedule to shoot it. Others believe that once you've hired them that they are locked in and they can do whatever they want. This is true if you've shot most of your film with them prior to the scene. However, if you shoot the more difficult scenes first, you'll be able to catch anybody who has decided to back out of it. You'll then be able to save quite a bit of money by pausing your production long enough to get a replacement in if you don't already have an understudy available, rather than having to go back and reshoot your entire film because you saved those scenes till last. It's always a good idea to have a few days of pickup scheduled. This means days that don't have a particular scene scheduled to shoot but are available to reshoot anything that is needed or to grab any shots that were not able to be filmed on the day that the scene shot. For example, you might have been shooting outside on a beautiful day all day and then a sudden thunderstorm popped up and ruined your ability to shoot the close-ups. Put those on your pickup list and shoot those during your open schedule days at the end of your shoot. Now, the honest truth is that you can work very hard to get the perfect schedule down, have everything timed out great, have things where there's plenty of time to shoot everything, and something will happen. It could be something very minor, it could be something very major. Either way, you have to expect that your schedule is going to change no matter how perfect you think it is. So, keep yourself flexible. Make sure you have plenty of extra days available in order to do that shuffling, because it almost certainly is going to happen. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Unconnected Filmmaker, and if you found this information useful and want to be notified when the next video premieres, just hit that subscribe button. Or, if you have anything you'd like to see an episode on, feel free to comment below. See you next time, and keep those cameras rolling.